What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're running Abomasnow, Medicham, and Sableye. Very strong meta team that you guys can use in the Great League. Getting into the first battle, we have Abomasnow versus Frostlass. Not too bad of a matchup, but also not ideal. So what we're going to want to look to do here is go for an energy ball, as it will do neutral damage. Now the unfortunate thing for us is the powder snows here from Frostlass are doing neutral damage. We're going to go ahead and let this first avalanche go through and look to go for this energy ball, and then we might try to make a quick swap into Sableye so that we can bank Abomasnow. And we're going to go ahead and do that right away. So we can bank Abomasnow for a potential sack swap later on. Now they bring in a Scrafty right here, which is going to be tough for us to beat, but thankfully we do have return. This does a lot of neutral damage in the matchup, and they decide to no-shield it, which is now perfect for us. The Frostlass is low, Scrafty is low, we have a Medicham in the back, and I'm guessing they have something else weak to fighting type Pokemon, considering they led with the Frostlass and they brought in a Scrafty. It could be anything, right? It could be Bastiodon, it could be Galarian Stunfisk, Registeel, but that is my guess. And it's going to be a Galarian Stunfisk, which means Medicham is going to take this game for us. Now, we still need to be very careful about the Frostlass, but ultimately we have two shields, and we're going to go ahead and swap in Medicham now, as excuse me, as we can easily tank this game with counter. Now, I decided to no-shield the first charge move because if they were going to bait, that's going to be the time to do it. And they decided to swap into Frostlass here to catch the charge move, which is fine. Ultimately, I can safely double shield this game and fully counter down. There's nothing they can do, and that is going to be a good battle. I'm going to go ahead and give up the shield on this one now, and that will be a good game. So we kind of looked out with the team composition there, having the Medicham in the back. All right, moving to the next one, we have Abomasnow on the lead versus Shadow Swampert. So, if this is a team that I ran earlier, which is very strong from PV Poke, there's probably going to be a Pidgeot and a Noctowl in the back. That's what my brain thinks when I see Shadow Swamperts, and I'm sure you do too, because it's such a strong team and very common now in the meta. So I have to play to that. I'm going to predict that that is what's in the back, so I need to keep Abomasnow alive. We do get a shield right there. They decide to swap in the Noctowl, which is perfect. This is exactly what I thought would be back there. And Abomasnow core breaks this whole team. The Swampert, the Noctowls, the Pidgeot, it does super effective damage against everything. So we're going to go ahead and double shield it, keep this thing alive, and look to do as much damage as we can to this Noctowl. Now, I can't stay in too long. I still need Abomasnow for Pidgeot, so I'm going to have to swap out at some point. They decide to let that go, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Sableye if the Swampert decides to come back in, which it does, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into that Sableye, but they have a lot of energy right now, which is unfortunate. We're going to let this Sableye go down. It's basically a sacrifice for us. It's not going to do too much fast move damage to Pidgeot, so having it go down here to a Swampert is fine, because now what I can do is come in with Medicham and start countering down, keeping Abomasnow in the back with the energy that it does have stored. So we're going to go ahead, bring in that Medicham. They swap in the Pidgeot right away, so I'm going to look to go for the Ice Punch. Now, this is a unique situation where if they decide to go for Brave Bird, their defenses are then lowered so I can farm them down, and they let the Ice Punch go through. So if this is Brave Bird, I win by just farming down. If it's not, and it's a Feather Dance, I can swap out and go for a Weather Ball now to force that final shield from them. If they decide to let it go, which they do, now it's just a fast move game versus Swampert. I will be able to get this Weather Ball off as well to force that final shield. And it's going to be a matter of if Swampert can get 2 Hydro Cannons in time. I don't think it's going to be able to. I think from counting right there, I feel like it's 2 Mud Shots away. You guys can let me know, but I thought it was 2 Mud Shots away, and we take it right there. I think it was 2 Mud Shots, so that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, we got Abomasnow versus Defense Form Deoxys. Now, I face against this similar team a second time. This first time I swap into Sableye, and they decide to bring in a Pelipper, which is actually a matchup I can flip, especially when I'm this far ahead on energy. So they threw this really early, so it's just going to be a Weather Ball. I don't need to be too concerned about it. But what I'm looking to do is if I land this Foul Play, I'm going to force Switch Advantage. Not that Medicham is a good counter to Defense Form Deoxys, but but the energy on Sableye is going to be very advantageous to chip away their backline. We don't know what it is, but considering we have Defense Form, Deoxys, and Pelipper, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a tank, and it's going to be Galarian Stunfisk. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and throw one foul play right here, land it, and then we're going to load up on energy, go for another one. And then I'm going to look to swap out. I'm going to force their hand and get that Defense Form Deoxys back on the field by swapping in the Medicham. Galarian Stunfisk only threatens Abomasnow with a Rock Slide, and granted it needs 2, but the Galarian Stunfisk is within range of a Weather Ball now, so I can safely come in to this matchup. It's somewhat neutral. We're both doing resisted damage. I can spam Ice Punches for neutral damage. They can spam Thunderbolt. So even though we're likely going to lose this matchup, as long as I get this thing low enough, we're looking pretty good. Now, they still have 2 shields left. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I'm just going to keep throwing these Ice Punches, and now we start getting the shields, which is perfectly fine. Remember, we still have the Sableye as well. So what I'm actually going to do here is I want to force the final shield from my opponent, keep my switch clock, get my switch clock back, and keep my Medicham alive because I might need that counter damage for Galarian Stunfisk. So we do get the final shield. I'm going to swap into Sableye now to do super effective damage with Shadow Claw, and they decide to throw the Psycho Boost at the last second. That will take me out, but now I can freely come in with Medicham right here and load up on energy. So we're going to go ahead and do that. They're deciding to stay in and throw another Psycho Boost. This is only neutral, but it's not going to do enough damage in order to take us out, and we do see the Galarian Stunfisk come in. The reason why it didn't do enough damage there is because they already threw a Psycho Boost at the Sableye, so that next one did so much less damage, and that's going to be a good game, very well played. I play this matchup different later on in the video. If you guys want to see how I do that, I swap in Medicham instead. All right, so we got Venusaur here on the lead. Very positive for us, so we're going to go ahead and stay in, and they're staying in as well. This is telling me that maybe they're weak in the back to Abomasnow, which has been core breaking a lot of teams as of late, and they're shielding as well, so I'm going to go ahead and keep Abomasnow alive. If they're in this such a terrible lead matchup and they're staying in, something in the back is weak, so we're going to play to that. I'm going to go ahead and go, oh, they decide to swap out into Aurora, so I'm going to bring in the Medicham right there. That was a good swap on them to try to catch the charge move, but I was overloading on energy in anticipation for that. So we're going to go ahead and let the Weather Ball go through. Not too concerned about that. What I am more concerned about is having enough energy on the backside for Venusaur, because our Medicham does have Ice Punch. So this is looking like a very good situation where I can get myself a shield from the Venusaur that is going to be likely coming back in. And if they decide to let this go, obviously it's going to KO, or we get the shield, we still have Abomasnow. So this is a checkmate situation for them. They're going to decide to throw the charge move now, as we did get to the next Ice Punch. This is fine. I think I can still win with Sableye, so I'm going to let the Medicham go down. We're going to come in with Abomasnow, and it's actually going to be a Guzzlord in the back. So our first thought of there's something weak in the back did pay off. The Aurora's taking damage to Energy Ball, the Guzzlord in the back, which is spicy, by the way. Respect to my opponent for having that. And the Weather Ball destroying Guzzlord. So it makes a lot of sense why they stayed in with Venusaur on the lead. And seeing that, recognizing that, allowed me to keep Abomasnow alive in order to sweep this game. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Abomasnow on the lead versus Defense Form Deoxys. This is the one I was talking about earlier. This time we're going to go into Medicham on the safe swap. We do draw out a Noctowl, which is going to be somewhat good, but also somewhat bad. It depends on how much energy they build up, but ultimately we are doing super effective damage here with Ice Punch, and Abomasnow can farm down for energy. So that's a good situation. The bad thing is they're going to be doing super effective damage to both Medicham and Abomasnow, so we got to be very careful. Now, I want to take this into the one shields. The reason being, I didn't want them to land a Sky Attack and farm down my Medicham. I'd rather them be forced to shield and now forced to KO Medicham without overloading on too much energy, so that my Abomasnow can now come in and safely farm down. Granted, I will probably have to give up a shield right here in order to keep it alive, but I think the energy on Abomasnow is going to be worth it in the long run, so I'm going to go ahead and shield the Sky Attack. We're going to farm down. They decide to swap in Defense Form Deoxys, which was a critical mistake on their end. Granted, We don't know whatever that third Pokemon is, but this is a very good situation for us. Even though we are taking neutral from Thunderbolt, we can get those shields and get this thing low enough. What I really want to get is the final shield and the Shadow Claw damage, because Abomasnow might be able to sweep. They decide to let it go, which is perfect. This is going to allow me to now farm down. Remember, Noctowl is still low. They went for the Psycho Boost as well, which means we still have a good amount of health. And they decide to bring in Noctowl and critically make an error where I can now farm them down. And the final Pokemon is going to be Pelipper. So we're going to put in a lot of work right now with Sableye, doing a lot of neutral damage. They farm us down, but thankfully I have all of that energy banked on Abomasnow and the health to survive a Weather Ball, which is very important because they don't have enough time to build up to a Hurricane, which is why I decided to shield the Abomasnow. I thought the energy was going to be worth it, and it did pay off as we fast move down, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. And that was the final battle right there. So this team, very strong, very meta, a lot of fun. I've seen quite a few the Abomasnow Pidgeot teams. I've seen a lot of flyers around, a lot of grass, a lot of water, and Abomasnow does very well at kind of core breaking that. Granted, you really have to watch out for the sky attacks and what have you, but it is set up to do that. And Sableye and Medicham are obviously very meta and very strong on any team. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.